When asked about college during his Beyond Order tour, Dr. Jordan Peterson suggests that if you're considering not going to college, a good rule of thumb is to consider something equally as difficult. Because, and I quote, "You always have to ask yourself, is this not right for me? Or am I just useless and lazy?" I'm not sharing my rationales as justification for you to go play video games all day. And I'm also not speaking to athletes or those pursuing careers in medicine or law. But rather, I'm speaking to those who wish to achieve financial greatness in their life and are unsure if the collegiate path is right for them. This video isn't me trying to convince anybody to drop out or to pursue higher education further. And no matter what you decide to do, I encourage you to always keep learning. Read, listen to, and experience as much as humanly possible. Otherwise, how do you grow? I just want to tell my story and share my reasons for dropping out of college. And hopefully it's somewhat insightful. If you don't know who I am, my name's Preston. I'm the owner and operator of Prestito PC, where we finance out gaming PCs on payment plans here in Dallas, Texas with no credit required. So I don't have the typical college dropout entrepreneur with a 1.7 GPA story. I had a good experience in high school with incredible teachers that had a great impact on my life. And while I do have crazy ADHD and struggle to focus in a school environment, I took 14 AP classes. I've always loved learning, had decent grades, and was very involved in extracurriculars. Because of the environment I was in, going to college was always just expected. And I had never even considered that there could be other options. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was a half-decent trumpet player in high school. Insert clip. And I loved music, but I wanted to make money, so I knew that probably wasn't going to work out. Desde que había tomado español, all the way through AP Spanish literature, and I knew I liked business. So I figured for my major, international business just made the most sense. So I went through the application process. My dream was to go to the Stern School of Business at NYU, but I found out before a concert in Chicago that I hadn't gotten accepted there. My next choice, the University of South Carolina, had the #1 international business program in the country, but I didn't get in for my major there either. I considered going to the University of Arkansas, but after touring the campus and considering the associations that most state schools had with party culture and alcohol, I decided against it. I also had an ex that was about to be a sophomore there with my exact major, whom I respect greatly, but definitely would not have wanted me in her classes. I also considered going to Texas Tech because my girlfriend at the time was also a sophomore there, but I decided against it for the same reasons. I ended up deciding to go to the University of Texas at Dallas because the campus was modern and it was clear that a rigorous education was actually a priority there. And it wasn't just spending tens of thousands of dollars for people to go waste 4 years of their lives partying. Because I took so many AP classes in high school, all of the classes that I took freshman year at UTD were actual business classes, which was nice. But by day 3 of classes, I was already severely questioning whether it was the right decision for me. I had severe anxiety and consistent suicidal ideations. I wasn't enjoying my classes, felt like I wasn't really learning much, and overall just felt like I was wasting my time. I confided in a few people to share how I was feeling and casually mentioned dropping out to my parents a few times, but eventually it got to the point where instead of working between my classes, I was skipping class entirely just to work, and it just wasn't worth it. I actually put together a 113 slideshow for my parents to tell them that I was dropping out. The slideshow went in depth on my current psyche, the skills that would make me successful, the current job markets, projections, and my past experience to back it all up. From successful crowdfunding, business launches, graphic design, networking with world famous musicians, etc. It was a slideshow. Don't get me wrong, UTD was a solid school, and I'm glad that I went so that I knew it wasn't for me. I even had a professor that agreed to sit down with me and go over a little bit of contract law while I was getting my business processes together, which was great, but I'm also very glad that I dropped out. Now I'm going to quickly go over the main reasons that I dropped out of college. So I can make an entire video about the pandemic that is the student loan crisis.
Financing college is very tough for millions of Americans.
Tuition has gone through the roof.
But I'm not going to be including this in my rationale because I was fortunate enough to have parents that were hardworking and high earning that could have cash flowed the rest of my tuition if I continued down that path. Without further ado, here are my reasons for dropping out of college. Number 1, I don't learn well in a classroom environment. So because of my ADHD, it's always been really hard for me to sit in a classroom for hours and maintain focus. I was the type of kid that constantly needed to be moving on to new topics or fidgeting with something. One of my favorite teachers in middle school actually went as far as to buy a standing desk for the classroom because I would never sit down. This trend of not being able to focus in a classroom environment persisted throughout college, and it definitely contributed to my desire to drop out and begin learning in other ways. I found that by interacting with others and learning through doing, I was able to progress much more efficiently and enjoyably. Number 2, the opportunity cost of business experience. Put simply, opportunity cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. By choosing to spend 3 years earning my bachelor's degree, I'm sacrificing 3 years of potential business experience. Both choices have value, but to me, the business experience is much more valuable because it means I have the opportunity to learn and fail on the field with a 3 to 7 year head start. By staying in college, I'm sacrificing the business that I would have built had I dropped out, which is worth far more to me when combined with the education that experience provides than a bachelor's degree. Number 3, higher earning potential. When considering dropping out, I already had a pretty good grasp on what numbers my business could be doing over the next 3 to 5 years. When looking at the average first-year compensation for a global business major at UTD, I found that it was just $71,100 with only 24% of students being employed at graduation. While $71,000 is a respectable yearly income, I knew that I could not only hit that figure much quicker working for myself than 3 to 4 years, but I could also make way more working for myself because I wasn't tied down by my degree to jobs with lower earning potential. Number 4, many jobs don't require a degree. I'm entrepreneurial by nature, but if for whatever reason so many of my entrepreneurial ventures failed that I decided to give up on entrepreneurship entirely, I will have further developed my already strong marketable skills, such as sales, networking, marketing, accounting, leadership, and many others through the time that I spent running the business. I also know that because of my experience and practice, I can make more in a commission-based sales position than most college graduates coming out of school. On top of that, companies such as Apple and Google no longer require a 4-year degree for almost any role at the company. We're in a hot job market, yet we still have high unemployment because people don't want to work. If you spend just 1 year developing any marketable skill through trade school, work experience, or heck even YouTube, employers will now recognize the value that you offer. Number 5, and the last reason that I decided to drop out of college, is I wanted to do work I enjoy. In Michael Masterson's Ready, Fire, Aim, he talks about how he hates hard work. Hard work meaning work he doesn't like to do, so he rarely does it. But he loves working hard on easy work, or the work he enjoys. I've always struggled to focus and felt like a naturally lazy person, while other people call me hardworking. It's because I work very hard on the things that I enjoy because they don't feel like work. Dropping out of college to focus on the business allowed me to be completely in control of how I spend my time. I can use that time and energy to work a lot harder because I get to choose the work that I'm passionate about, the easy work. I know this can be a bit of a controversial topic, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you haven't already, like the video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.